let's have a look at what books are yet to be released this year in relation to D&D. So the next 5th edition book that will be coming out in July, supposedly, is the Dragon Delves Anthology. And this is one I actually do be picking up myself. I kind of gone away from some of the main books and like getting more third party and campaign adventures and stuff. It's purely based on adventures surrounding the chromatic and metallic dragons. It's a list of short adventures from level 1 to 12, so it means that you can kind of pick out those ones that you want and you don't have to like commit to playing the full thing, which is very interesting. But also it allows you, it seems like going forward they seem to have this narratively have a link between these like one-shot adventure or short adventures, so you could play through them all like a long campaign. Now, you could probably do that anyway if you're just a little bit more creative, but it's nice to see that they're putting that little bit of effort into actually giving the option of having a more long-term campaign with these stories. Even though I feel like you might get tired of fighting relentless amounts of dragons from level 1 to 12, I feel like it might be a little bit much. But at the same time, though, I wonder how many people have not fought a dragon yet in their time playing Dungeons and Dragons. I fought plenty. As I've thrown at people, actually, I should probably throw more dragons at my players, but I've definitely fought my fair share. I think it's always like they're always fun. And one thing about dragons as well is I think I remember reading that the death of a dragon in Eron Dungeons and Dragons, it's supposed to have like an impact on the surrounding area, because dragons are such inherently magical creatures in the sense they have such a connection to the land. That there's like, you should narrate a death of a dragon should have an impact in the surrounding area where it happened, you know, which already gives me a great idea for like the beginning of a story where let's say we could find a dragon that was more neutral, maybe it wasn't like an evil dragon line, so maybe it had a pact with a certain village, and all of a sudden the crops start dying, you know, all the crops start dying. Maybe the weather turns bad, the soil goes, you know, just the surrounding environment starts to degrade, and your set of adventurers are tasked to figure out what happened. And as you slowly piece together like where this dragon might be nested up, you find the dragon just like dead body just displayed across an area, and just like death and decay emanating from it. You know what I mean? Like, you can get cool, and then you have to hunt down who killed the dragon. You're like, oh, instead of you're like, there's a subconscious part of your mind there that's like, oh, fucking hell, someone killed this dragon. We're gonna go find and kill this dragon. Oh, fuck. I think that's a cool little story. I think that's a cool little kind of plot hook there. So yeah, looking forward to this one anyway. Hopefully, fingers crossed, now that's good. So next up in August, we're returning to Eron with Eron Forge of the Artificer, which I think is also bringing in a brand new rework of the Artificer class. For those of you who don't know, Eron is probably as competitive with the Forgotten Realms for popularity. Like, Eberron is very popular, even though I've never got a chance to play it myself. But it's been kind of tied into D&D for like since 3rd edition, I want to say, maybe 2nd edition. But it's been around for a long time, and a lot of source books for Eberron were in previous editions. Now I think they summarize what Eberron is and the setting and all that in the beginning of each new edition book that they bring out. But essentially, Eberron is a little bit more, it's completely different fantasy world than Forgotten Realms, which is the main setting for 5th edition anyway. But Eberron is a little bit more, okay, so instead of it being more technology advanced, just pure electricity, think of it magic. There's very mundane items that are used in day-to-day activities that make everyone's lives easier. Trains, spaceships, you know, there's that little bit more level of technological advancement. But high level magic is seen as more rare, so you see people are like, you know, more almost like animatronics and stuff like that, you know, what are they called, just kind of like robots, you know, magical robots essentially. You can find them like as in automatons, you can find like dogs and all this sort of stuff. It's an interesting setting, a little bit more kind of like noir, and also where people use pulp setting for it as well. The Forge of the Artificer will include new backgrounds, new bastion options, expanded rules for airships, and also the new Artificer class. On top of that, I have 3 more adventures in the setting of Eron, and which you can also once again tie together for an actual short campaign. There's another one I'd be interested in trying out, because Eron is like that little bit more, like, I would like to use the word steampunk, but it's not fully steampunk, so I don't want to give you the wrong idea. It's steampunk-esque in some of the clothes and some of the, and like how the characters look, but it isn't really like, it's still more magic involved in it, in the steampunkness of it. Yeah, another interesting one. So on top of that, September we have the new starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands, which supposedly is a kind of reimagining of a classic adventure that came out in 1979. Keep the Borderlands adventure module. It sounds interesting. It seems to be, it brings you on 3 distinct paths. So one setting is on the keep itself, one explores the wilderness, and one centered around the dreaded caves of chaos, which sounds kind of cool. I always have a special kind of fondness for the starter sets, because obviously it's where a lot of people start. But the Lost Mines of Phandelver, I think I've played through it. I've played through it once, and I never even got to finish it. But I've ran it 4 or 5 times now, I want to say. It's a solid little adventure. Everyone has fun with it. It's easy to run as well, but it gives you a nice little taste of different things. Just really solid, and I think to this day it's actually still rated as like one of the best adventure paths that they've had for 5th edition. Yeah, so new D&D starter set, always a nice place to kind of jump into the game as well, in the sense of if you're not too sure if you want to commit to all the books and everything, the starter sets give you everything you need to get going. So if you're ever a little bit kind of curious, but also remember, it's strange that they're bringing out another starter set for 5th edition, because I was like, this is why I thought this was going to be like 1 D&D, but I think it's still 5th edition. Okay, no, sorry, I am wrong. So this is using 1 D&D. So this starter set is the first starter set actually utilizing the new rules set. So I actually could potentially pick this up in terms of if I wanted to get involved in it. I'm still not sure. I'm kind of happy with 5th edition. I have to do a bit more research for 1 D&D to really kind of convince myself of it. But still, it's nice to have that option anyway. Nice to have that option without having to buy all the books before jumping into it. At least I can just be like, yeah, I'll buy it as a starter kit. So the Forgotten Realms player guide and DM guide will also be coming out in November. And it looks like it's just a reimagining of, in case you don't know, the Forgotten Realms is, I don't know what it was beforehand, but it's become the primary setting for D&D. But originally it was just like an alternative setting, but it became so popular that it has been, for 5th edition, it was set, I don't know, but for previous editions, but for 5th edition, it was set as the main setting for the actual game itself. And so Faerun is the continent, so you're probably familiar with Faerun. But so like of Baldur's Gate is covered in this. Neverwinter, Phandalin is in Faerun, and takes place in Faerun. So it's like the primary one, the one that everyone's probably most familiar with. And obviously Baldur's Gate, now with the game Baldur's Gate 3, the popularity of that, everyone's very familiar with. So all of that is based in the Forgotten Realms. The likes of Icewind Dale as well, that's one very popular book, set up kind of in the snowy mountains. So this is once again for 5th edition, not for 1 D&D, but more of a deep dive into the Forgotten Realms, and it brings together, I think there's some new classes in this one. Let me double check. So there are 8 new subclasses, which also encompass like new feats, background spells, faction details. Some of them were recently tested in the Unearthed Arcana play tests, where people get to try them out and all that stuff. I haven't personally had a look at them. 8 new subclasses, and also, so on top of this, it actually mentions here that all the material will be fully compatible with the new 2024 Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Masters 2024 Dungeon Masters Guide. So I guess it's primarily aimed at the 5th edition players, but I guess they might have certain notes in there for conversions to 1D&D or to, everyone calls it, I don't know, people call it, is it 1D&D or 2024 version? I don't know what to call it these days. But anyway, so essentially it's primarily going to be targeted towards the 5th edition, but like you're going to be able to convert it, you know what I mean? You're going to be able to convert it. It's not going to be a huge deal if things aren't straightforward translated to the 2024 edition. So I won't be too worried if you're interested in the setting and buying it. Like I imagine they'll have some maybe conversion table in the beginning or section of the book, maybe where if there's certain values are different, they'll convert over, that sort of thing, you know. So I won't be too worried if you're interested in the setting. Don't be worried about picking up this book. For the DM then, you actually get a lot more detail on a lot of the main sections and main cities and kind of outposts that I would have mentioned there. The Forgotten Realms DM guide will have a lot more information on those settings, and also some short little adventure paths as well. So last but not least, a little bit on the side where it's coming out at the end of this year or 2026, but we actually have a crossover with Magic the Gathering, as if the two nerd spheres needed to intersect like that. But we have the Lorwyn Shadowmoor source book, which I actually am unfamiliar with the Magic the Gathering like lore side of things, but apparently it's one of the major settings that kind of came out 20 years ago. It's a unique setting that contains two mirrored planes of existence, one an idyllic land inhabited by peaceful fairy tale creatures, and the other a dark realm of violence and fear. So not much more has been said about this, but it's interesting that we're getting a little crossover with Magic the Gathering. It's potentially a new setting. We'll see. I'm not sure. I don't know. Obviously, don't know much about it. Maybe some Magic the Gathering people can comment and give us a little bit more details what could be involved. At least we're getting a little bit more kind of variety to work with, you know? Not too bad. All right, so let me know what you think you're kind of more excited for. I won't lie, I think I'm still more excited for some of the other systems system books that I'm getting this year. Yeah, so I think personally myself, I'll probably be taking a bit more of a step away from just plain old D&D. I think there's a lot of interesting settings, a lot of different rule sets as well that I would like to try out. I'll probably always have some sort of D&D campaign going, but I don't think it's what I would personally like to run myself. There's a lot of new systems coming, and I'm looking forward to just jumping into something new. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made this far in the video, I really appreciate it. If you haven't subbed yet, I'd really appreciate the sub. We're trying to keep this, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs. That's kind of our goal now for this year. Fingers crossed we hit it. If you have any comments, drop them down below. Any other videos you'd like to see, drop them down below. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.